Last planner in construction, stop using the wrong visuals. Visual management fix. In this video, I'm going to really attempt to partner with my other, I would say, contemporaries and consultants in the industry and honor their work, but also suggest an improvement that will make the difference for everybody implementing the last planner system. And it deals with visuals. And I'm just gonna hop right in because I wanna get this going with you. Typically on a conference room, what we will see is that on the walls, somebody will have their CPM schedule up here on the left. They might have a list of submittals or a procurement log. I'll just call that supply, which isn't bad. Then they'll have a parking lot, which I actually don't mind. So I'll just put PL for parking lot. Then they have a list up here, which is just constraints. And what will typically happen next is they'll have a big old area which will be the weekly work plan with stickies. On the front of the wall, maybe you have your one, I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they have two screens. Maybe you'll have, and I'm not being too critical, please don't get mad at me, like this LCI, what is lean in construction, and then you'll see over here to the right, you'll have your big pull planning board. This is what will happen. Now, let me talk about this, and let me introduce this a couple different ways. Number one, even though W. Edwards Deming said that some of the most important metrics are unseeable, we'll move those to the side. Some things are unknowable, unseeable, you can only intuit them. So W. Edwards Deming wanted us to not ignore those. But for the things that we can see, the quote, you can't manage what you can't measure, stands for the knowable information. Non-knowable information, that's all intuited, or to be intuited. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But you can't manage what you can't measure, but here's the key. You can't measure what you can't see. And people will talk about what they see. And that is a fact. So if you want to have better conversations, you got to have better visuals. Now let me talk about a couple things that are going to sound a little harsh, but we have to move away from this. This as a 1.0 was great, but we got to move into 2.0. It is time for Last Planner to move into 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. And I want to say one thing. You cannot, with the Last Planner, say, I'm going to pull the next 3 weeks. There's never been anything more ineffective than that. It's not vertically aligned with milestones and there's no trade flow. Let me start with that. But let me say a couple things here. Number one, we should not be using CPM. I don't want to see that on the wall. That is not a visual production plan. You need to be using Takt. If you want to be effective, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. Constraints is myopic. It will loop too many items into one list. It will not separate it and you will not know how to deal with it. Let me explain this. For constraints and roadblocks, everybody thinks a constraint is a roadblock, so everybody tries to remove it and they don't understand that it's a system design component. And so we don't have the language, unless you check out our work, we don't have the language to know how to deal with it. It overwhelms the trades and you don't get your problem solved. We've got to split this up to where it's constraints and roadblocks. The weekly work plan on the wall is nice for advertising, marketing, and showing off. I'm not making fun, but this is one of the most detrimental things when it comes to Last Planner visuals. And let me tell you why. These boards are designed for small projects, very, very small projects where you're very, very near the work. Like if you're doing a little 6,000 square foot or less renovation, you could probably get away with the weekly work plans on the wall. Here's the thing, the stickies are falling off. It only has 30 rows. And so you don't have enough space. And then it's locked in the office. And most projects nowadays are mega projects. We have multiple functional areas. These are very large. You cannot fit the weekly work plan on there. You cannot rely on stickies. It takes too much time to do stickies. And now you've locked it in the office and you've hobbled the field. You should not have the weekly work plan on the wall. The weekly work plan should be digital. The other thing is the pull plan on the wall. It doesn't bother me if you do a physical pull plan and you take it and you transcribe it and make it digital. But if you leave the pull plan right here on the wall and say that's where it's going to stay or put the pull plans in the field, you're going to have the same problem, unlegible stickies that are falling down in an incorrect sequence, batched, that's locked in one location where the people can't see it and it doesn't end up where it's supposed to be. A pull plan is supposed to become a located weekly work plan. You will focus on what you see here. So if you have these on the wall, your team is focused on sequence, they're focused on the weekly work plan, and they're focused only on unknowable constraints which are not separated out, so you have confusion. And you're not handling what you need to handle. Now let me bring this home. What do I want people in the office to mainly focus on? I want them to focus on identify, discuss, and solve roadblocks. Your constraints should already be a part of the system design if you've done it right. And if you want to IDS roadblocks, then you're going to have to redesign your conference room to where it looks like this. This has been proven out, and I'll tell you what, it's so bad because as much as we say we're lean practitioners, lean people will just stay fixed and stubborn and stagnant, and they're married to this and they won't adjust, and it's really, really frustrating. What you got to have over here on the left, and we have all these as a templated for you, this is your team board. This is where you organize the project delivery team for balance. Then you have your 3D axonometric expanded views that show the visual maps. So I'm going to call these maps. Then in the front of the room, you have your two screens. And then on the right, now you can have your whiteboard and your open space. But let me talk about this right now. Your team board is where you create balance. And actually, let me mark this. This is step number 1. So what's the first thing in the meeting system is to create balance with the project delivery team. Step number 2 in your overall meeting structure is you want to make sure that you're identifying and discussing and solving roadblocks. So before you even get into a last planner meeting, your trades should be taught to put up red magnets on the maps. And that's the agenda for your meetings. You're not talking about I'm on level 3, zone 4, and I've got 5 guys or 5 people. You're talking about handoffs, interfaces, problems, change points. This is crucial. Your look-ahead plan, and I'll say your production plan before that, and your weekly work plan and your day plan are digital. And when you do your maps that go to your field and your pull plans, they're digital. And then you're able as a team to do any brainstorming you have over here on the whiteboard. We have got to stop doing these key things to be very specific. Get rid of the CPM filter, separate constraints and roadblocks. Your weekly work plan does not belong on physical stickies on the wall. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that a physical sticky pull plan is the best way to do it because you have bad handwriting, the stickies are falling apart or falling off. It's not easy to track zone by zone. It's better to do it on the digital board. And we've got to get rid of these old maps that talk about lean in the wrong way. We've got to get updated posters and guides and agendas. What I need you to have is your team balance boards, which we'll give you in the description below, your visual maps where you mark red magnets with roadblocks, your digital boards where you keep your look-aheads, weekly work plans, and your pull plan, and then your open space where you can do brainstorming. And if you want to be really advanced, then you have a scrum board over here on the right for your project delivery team. This is so good. Where if the foreman can't solve one of these, it gets transferred over here to the scrum board for the project delivery team to solve. We've got to start using the right visuals, and this is the way to do it. If you want to dig into this more, Takt steering and control shows you how to do this right. We have these boards for free. You don't have to buy them from us. I saw the other day a pull planning playbook and all of these big pull planning like supplies at 3, 4, 5, 6 times the cost, and I was blown away. Anything we have you can have for free, or order the stickies if you're going to do it on Amazon. All of this will give you for free. And if you want to know why, it's in the book, The 10 Improvements to the Last Planner System. But this is the way to go. If you want to get on our daily coaching chat where you can get access to this and help every day for free, let me know. I'll get you on that WhatsApp chat. And please reach out to us if you need any help. I'll also put this into a blog post. I hope you've enjoyed this. On we go.